Jai Hind, dear students. In this video, we will be discussing about the peninsular plateau. But before that, we should know that what is a peninsula. Any landmass which is surrounded three sides by water, it is known as peninsula. For example, India is surrounded three sides by water. On the east is the Bay of Bengal, in the south is the Indian Ocean, and in the west is the Arabian Sea. So three sides India is surrounded by water. That is why India is a peninsular country. Okay, so this is the definition of peninsula. We will be studying this peninsular plateau with the help of map. When we study with the help of map, the understanding is very easy. So here you can see the map of India and the area, this area which I have drawn now is known as the peninsular plateau. This whole triangular area is known as peninsular plateau. Peninsular plateau, it can be broadly divided into two. The first is known as the central highland. This area is known as the central highland, and the next is this area, it is known as the Deccan plateau. So the peninsular plateau, it can be broadly divided into, first is known as the central highland, and the next is known as the Deccan plateau. So one by one we will be studying them. First we will be studying about the central highland. This area is known as the central highland. Basically, central highland is the area which is west, not the west, which is north of the Vindhyan range and south of the Aravali hills. This whole area is the central highland, and it includes the Malwa plateau, Ruhelkhand plateau, and Bundelkhand plateau. See, these are the various plateaux which are present in the central highland. Then one more plateau is there which is known as the Chota Nagpur plateau, which includes the states of Jharkhand and West Bengal. Here the Damodar river is flowing. The next one is the Deccan plateau. So the area which is south of Satpura range, this whole area is known as the Deccan plateau. Basically, all this peninsula plateau, it is made up of igneous and metamorphic rocks, and it is also one of the oldest landmass in the world. If question is asked which is the oldest landmass, the peninsular plateau is the oldest landmass, and it is made up of igneous and metamorphic rocks. Thousands of years here in this area, volcanic eruption took place, and lots of igneous and metamorphic rocks were deposited all over this plateau. So this is the way by which this peninsular plateau was formed. Few important things about this peninsular plateau we have to discuss. This peninsula plateau, it is basically divided by two by the rivers, which is the Narmada river. So this side central highland, and this side is the Deccan plateau is there. and Narmada and Tapi. These are the two rivers which are known as the west flowing rivers. Means they are flowing in the west direction. Rest all rivers you will be see that, for example, Godavari is there, Kaveri is there, and Krishna. All these rivers they are moving towards their east side. Only two rivers which are this, the Narmada and Tapi, they are the west flowing river. So this Narmada and Tapi they are flowing between the Vindhyan range and Satpura range through a valley. So what does this indicate? This indicates that the slope of the peninsular plateau is towards the east side. Towards the east side is the slope. That is the reason the rivers are flowing in Bay of Bengal. But these two rivers they are going this side, means they are going through a valley, a area which is down compared to the other area. That is the reason for that. Okay. Next, few important other rivers are also there, like this Son river is there, which is starting from the Amarkantak and it's meeting Ganga here. Here Chambal river is there, Kali Sindh is there, Betwa. All these rivers are there which are glowing and they are the tributaries of river Ganga. Again, this indicates that the slope of the peninsula plateau is also towards the east side. Now some important points again. This when we talk about this peninsular plateau, this whole is the peninsular plateau, and here you will find three mountain range, Garo, Khasi and Jayantiya in Meghalaya. These are the extension of the peninsular plateau only. Next we will be discussing about the Western Ghats and the Eastern Ghats. So this area is the Western Ghat, and here you will find many mountains range. This is known as the Eastern Ghat. Now this Western Ghat and Eastern Ghat they are making the eastmost boundary and the westmost boundary. This Western Ghat it is starting from Gujarat and it is going up to Tamil Nadu, and it is a continuous mountain range. But when we talk about the Eastern Ghat, they are non-continuous. Why they are non-continuous? Because many rivers are flowing and they have cut this mountain area and they have made the fertile area. So you will finding gaps here between the Eastern Ghat, but basically in the Western Ghats you will not find more gaps. Only few gaps you will find from where we can cross. Those are known as the Bhor Ghat. Next, what is the difference between the Western Ghat and the Eastern Ghats? First one, the Western Ghats they are continuous mountain and the Eastern Ghat they are non-continuous. Second, the average height of the Western Ghat is more compared to the average height of the Eastern Ghat. Western Ghats they receive large amount of rainfall and the Eastern Ghat they receive less amount of rainfall. The highest peak in the Western Ghat is Anaimudi and the highest peak in the Eastern Ghat is Mahendragiri in Odisha. So these were the few difference between the Western Ghat and the Eastern Ghat. In our upcoming videos, we will be discussing the left topics. Till then, take care. Thank you and Jai Hind.